What a fall day. Chilly, sun shining, puzzling, walking, talking, thinking. Think through this one with me and see if this makes sense to you. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one. So I live in British Columbia, Western Canada. And back in 2020, I was working in healthcare. And there's a course, an online course. Lots of people take it. It's called the SANYES Cultural Safety Course. It used to be called Indigenous Cultural Competency. Healthcare workers and other folks in other sectors take the course. It's about building respect and knowledge for Indigenous peoples, and the hope that healthcare practitioners and others will deal in a safe and respectful way when working with Indigenous peoples in the system. And it came out back in 2020 that there were some comments being posted within the course, and that's part of the course. And those comments were mentioning a game, allegations of a game being played in emergency departments called The Price is Right. And this was on the heels of the absolutely abysmal situation that played out in Quebec. Young Indigenous woman, Joyce Echaquan, died in the hospital there. Had recordings of what she was subjected to. So there was quite a reaction. Media got out about these apparent comments in this game, and the BC government jumped into gear and launched an independent investigation. And the team was hired, and the way they went into looking at these allegations of systemic racism, some really important work, really good work was done. If I recall correctly, there's about 9,000 people surveyed and interviewed across BC. Probably about 2,500 or so of those were Indigenous folks. And it was in the neighborhood of about 85% Indigenous folks interviewed and surveyed said that they had experienced racism, discrimination in the healthcare system. There was a set of 24 recommendations that came out of that report. Really good work. I'll leave the link for it in the comments. But just keeping in mind that the impetus for that investigation largely, not all of it, but largely, were allegations from an online course and commentary. Now let's compare that against other things I've been posting on. Last summer, Statistics Canada released some reports and data, and they're still releasing reports and data from a 2019 survey on faculty and researchers in post-secondary universities and colleges in Canada. A lot of that was motivated by trying to get a better handle on equity, diversity, and inclusion, so looking at demographics. And part of that survey, they asked some questions around experiences of harassment and discrimination. And the results, I find, maybe others don't, are a bit stunning. Their levels in just being asked in the previous 12 months, faculty and researchers were asked in the previous 12 months, have you experienced harassment, discrimination? Lots of questions related to that. And it was the results of tens of thousands of people surveyed suggest that their experiences are almost twice the average, the national average in Canada. The experiences of men alone of harassment and discrimination in post-secondary were higher than it is for women across the country in other sectors. So that's 19%, and the experiences of men post-secondary was 22, 23%. And for women, it was 34%. Faculty and researchers had experienced it. And then it just gets brutal in different demographics. For those that self-identify as Indigenous, getting up over 40%. For Indigenous women, it's close to 50%. Those with disabilities, in some cases, it's over 50%. Female with a disability. Now, granted, those are very small numbers, but that's another issue, another problem, is underrepresentation in the sector. And so these numbers come out, and there's been very little media about them, very little from various higher education associations and researchers. But looking at those numbers, based on self-identifying Indigenous folks, those with disability, in the last 12 months, numbers upwards of 50%. How is that not raising the ire of politicians and ministries to launch independent investigations into how this is continuing to occur? I'm thoroughly puzzled by this. And this is I live in a province where UNDRIP legislation has been passed, UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. The federal government in Canada has passed that. And yet those are the experiences being reported in a very reputable agency, federal government's own agency, Statistics Canada. Yet no response from government, no response from different sectors. I'm very puzzled by this. What do you think? Leave me a comment or send me a note. I'm appreciating those of you that sending me some notes along.